Hi, my name is Kendall, and today I'm going to be talking about chapters 3, 4, and 5 based on project based learning. So, I'm going to start with chapter 3, and that is called Imagining the Possibilities. When you're deciding to do a project based learning assignment, it's good to look at what's the big idea, to look at all your curriculum and your content area, and to see how that aligns with the Common Core. The way you could bring technology into this would be to create a wiki. Wikis are websites that are easy to manage and easy to edit, and they allow others to edit content collectively. So, this is good for group work, and it is also good when you're doing these projects to think about real world connections and how some of the disciplines could overlap regarding your big ideas. And you can involve other classes as well and talk to your colleagues to see how you can collaborate in these projects. The project should use higher order thinking skills such as analyzing skills, evaluating skills, and creating an end project. And using technology in these products will help students develop their digital age literacy. And this includes inventive thinking, communication, and high productivity. This will also help their learning dispositions that are important, traits such as habits and attitudes that we encourage but we can't teach directly. This is things such as confidence, curiosity, resourcefulness, cooperation, motivation, persistence, and courage. Those who have a fixed mindset think intelligence is inborn and that you either have it or you don't. And those who have a growth mindset, believes that the effort plays an important role in one's ability to learn. So that's just something that was mentioned in the book that I thought was good to mention. Keeping your students in mind when you're creating these projects, one thing they suggested was to replace the word project with passion. It should be something that interests your students so that they're motivated to do the research and to kind of have a lust for learning and that they want to do their own research and just learn more about a topic. Not all digital tools are good for these project based learning things. You have to come up with the idea of what you want your students to learn and then go on if it that away. So, some of the tools mentioned in the book for the first one are researching. This is deep learning with experts, original works, and raw data. An example of a tech that you could use to develop this skill is the Smithsonian, and that's just kind of like a portal where all of these primary sources are available, and it'll be able to teach your students which sources are credible and which are not, so they're not just looking on Wikipedia to pull information. Two was to make ideas visible and expressive creatively. They gave ideas such as Sketch and Clogster just to combine multimedia images and text to present their research. The third one was collaboration, and they suggested Skype, Today's Meet, even Google Chat Room, all of those. And then the next one is project management. For that, they suggested the Google Suites, so the Google Slides, Google Docs, and Dropbox. And then reflection, I didn't even know about this, but there's an edu blog. So it's just kind of a refined way for your students to look back on the work they did and see what was hard for them, what was easy, and how they could improve the next time they do a topic or a project similar. And supported study or enrichment products, there's website or tech that they included called Flexbooks and the Khan Academy. And that wrapped up chapter 3. Moving on to chapter 4, this was called Strategies for Discovery. Before deciding as a teacher which project to assign to the class, they suggested to review previous projects already on the internet and kind of critiquing those that have already been done before deciding on your own. And that way you can kind of learn from the mistakes of others and really refine what you want your project to be. Overcoming some of the pitfalls I talked about in this chapter, such as a long activity but short outcome, though you really want to make sure that those are similar. You don't want to spend a lot of time on a project if they're not learning a lot, and you maybe want to extend a project where they're learning a lot but they don't have a lot of time to do it. So you kind of have to play around with that and see how your students are reacting to it. Another pitfall is technology layered upon a traditional project. So this, instead of like having a students research something and writing an essay, something that you may think would be a project-based learning is having them do research and doing a PowerPoint and presenting to the class. But that's just kind of the same thing as, a normal research essay, just with a PowerPoint on top. The technology in these projects should be used to enhance the product, not just to cover something that could be done without it. And another pitfall is trivial thematic units. You want to look for themes that elevate and connect to other learning, not just something that you think is cute or something that, isn't going to enhance their learning. Another pitfall is something that is over scripted with too many steps. This can be really confusing to your students and really doesn't give them any room to be creative. And another pitfall mentioned was not enough formal assessments and to consider appropriate check-ins. That way students aren't waiting until the last minute to complete all of their work, and you can kind of check in with them and see where they need help, where some of your directions might have been unclear, and things like that. The last pitfall was assessments that don't feel authentic. You want to look for assessments that look to improve quality. And some of the best projects that you could choose have possibilities of different learning paths, cause students to construct meaning, are centered on a one driving question, are realistic. That means that they cross disciplines and they can relate to other subjects that they're learning. They reach beyond school and involve others in the community. They involve data, and they are rich with primary sources. Where you can find the inspiration for your projects could be contemporary issues, news stories, student interests, and questions, and obviously based on your content that you are required to teach. And that was kind of what wrapped up Chapter 4. Moving on to Chapter 5, that was making assessments meaningful. One of the quotes that was in there that I really liked and made it kind of easier to understand assessments was when it said, when the cook tastes the soup, that's a formative, and when the guest tastes the soup, that's a summative. So a formative is a way for you in the middle, like wandering around, monitoring your students, for you to provide that feedback, see where students are struggling, and at the end, when they're presenting what they created in their research project or their project-based learning, that's the summative, kind of evaluating what they've done. So when you plan for a summative assessment, you need to look at the objectives of what you want your students to learn, the activities that they're doing, and the evidence that they provide you to show that they did what they were supposed to do. The tasks, if you notice from project-based learning, are aligned pretty closely with the Common Core requirements. They blend old with the new. They're creating something new. They model real-world assessments. Another way to assess this is to enter a contest or submit for a publication. And if you're planning for a formative assignment or formative assessment, you can set milestones, plan check-ins, have checklists, or look for other progress markers just to make sure your students are completing things that are on task. Maybe they need some help and direction and you can help them there. Some other assessment options and tools are brainstorming, checklists, coffee talks, concept maps, exit slips, interest inventory, portfolios, project logs, and to review the protocol. That way students know what they're supposed to be doing and they can create the best possible assignment that they can, project. And that is all that I have for today's assignment. Thanks for listening.